everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we are very happy to see you here today. We're going to work on a couple little fun Halloween, not so spooky, but fun spooky, Halloween appliques to go either just as a pillow, a decorative thing, or even on the side of a candy tote bag, and that's what we're going to kind of finish off today. So I've got this little cute little skelly guy here, and this little cute little mummy guy here. We did get them from this book that was gifted to us. Hopefully we can put a link below so you can get a chance to get this one. And it has all sorts of cute little ones just to applique. You can see the two right there that we chose to, the mummy and the little skelly. I just thought because of the little bones and stuff, that was really cute. But there's a house in here. Absolutely love the house. You know, we did a big, huge glow-in-the-dark house on the long arm with some applique as well. So yeah, some really cute ones. And we're just going to get started. So what I did is I traced out the ones that I liked with a felt marker just on some plain paper. And then I took stabilizer. Now you can also use heat and bond. That's totally up to you. I just had a whole bunch of stabilizer, so I thought let's just put away at that, and I can always sew it down. It doesn't make a difference, right? So I traced out all the pieces that I needed. Well, here, Dawn, let's put these two off to the side so you can see what I'm doing here. Traced out all the pieces that I needed. So I took my little template and I flipped it to the back side. Now, only because, for one, I can see the marker popping through. And then when I put my stabilizer on, this is the side where it's the glue. So that's going to stick to the back of your fabric. So then you know when you flip it right side up, this is going to be the right way. So some things may be directionally important, but if they're not, then, you know, don't worry about it. Okay, so once we've done the tracings of that, I want to be able to put this on like a nice white fabric, right? So I found this one right here, so I'm going to stabilize it. And these are the little bits here that are for, it just kind of gives a little bit of dimension that he is tied up. So I just made them separate, though you could just add together. And then some thread painting to go all the way around. And you're good to go, okay? You don't need free motion foot for this, but it would be definitely handy, okay? So now we're just going to press this, and then I've got my eyes here, and instead of doing like little circles for the pupils, I just thought, you know, maybe we'll just do some, you know, crazy little triangles today. So, you know, let's make it groovy. Maybe he's a groovy little mummy. All right, so we're just going to press this down, and then we're going to trace everything out. Make sure the glue is down. Yes, it is. And I have another one with the skelly here that we can add for the yellow. I mean for the orange. To get him all sorted. I got orange thread for him. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. And then we'll just cut this out, and then we pin it to where our background is, sort of thing. Okay, so let's just kind of pop that to the side so you can see what I'm doing now. Okay, so this guy, he's super cute. Obviously, if you were going to do a bag, you would do it properly placed on your tote. Like this is upright. My bag is just going to be sewn down the side. I'm going to do a French seam, super easy. Make this a super quick and easy project, and then it's good to go. And add some handles, okay? So this one we'll probably just do as like a little pillow or a wall hanging, okay? All right, and then we have all our little bits. All I can suggest is when you start cutting your bits out, is make sure you kind of clip them all together, because it's just so easy just to lose, you know, where you put things. All of a sudden, I'm looking for like 2 more bones, and I don't even know what happened to it. Like, I thought I just had it. Oh, why does his... Oh, I forgot to cut his thumb out. Okay, hold on. 1 second. We'll cut his thumb out. How can he be hitchhiking if he's got no thumb? Okay. So what we want to do first is kind of get that properly placed, pop a few pins in, and then we can do some stitching all the way around. Okay, so... just pop a couple. We don't need a whole lot. Let's pin these guys over here. Let's not get our eyes mixed up with these guys over there. Doesn't take much. Okay, stay. We'll clip this out. This is the pelvic. And of course you can use any bright colors, bright green, you know, make them radioactive, you know, be kind of fun. You know, the only limitation is your imagination. Now, when it comes to stuff that you want to kind of cut out on the inside, like we did with the skull face here, what I did is I folded it and then just cut a tiny little nip right there. And then that gives me access to the line that I need to trace. And then I just come in and follow it really close. that includes gets our little piece out. But if you didn't want to do that, you could just add another piece on top to give it that more of a dimension of a hip bone. Hip bone's connected to the bum bone. Bum bone's connected to the leg bone. Okay, oop, we can do that just a little bit better here. Tiny scissors are helpful for this. Okay, all right, move that there. Okay, so once we got our little bones all cut out, let's go and we'll put it underneath the machine. I do have just my walking foot under here, but I am going to switch it out to my free motion foot, okay? So here it is right here, okay? And I do have some orange matching thread. You could do dark blue. I did black on the first one, but it's whatever makes you comfortable with your thread choice, okay? Now I've got some nice bright, like silky colored kind of embroidery thread or sewing thread that we're going to do today. It is part of my embroidery collection. So now what this foot does is it bounces. You can see there's a little spring right here. It bounces up and down. And what it's going to do is it's going to stitch without any, oh, there we go. Where's my orange? I had yellow. Without any dogs feeding. Like these right here, these are the feed dogs. And you can hear that my scissors are touching them. There's usually a button on the side of your machine or like on this side or maybe on the front or whatever. Mine is like right at the side by my where the power is. And I just flip it and it drops those down. See? They're not even going to be in the way. Okay. And then when you're threading your bobbin, you want to make sure you're not cutting it here. You want to give a bit of a tail. You want to leave that tail normally because you want to be able to pull that bobbin thread up to the top as in one piece. Here, I'll show you here. I will just start at the side. Okay, drop our foot. I'm just going to hand crank the machine. I'm not putting on the pedal. I just want to do one full loop rotation. Okay. And then pull that thread up from the bottom. So here we go. Here's our bottom and here's our top. We want to keep those two together because if that bottom thread gets stuck down underneath, it could just make a rat's nest. And if you're not going to line your bag or whatever, then you don't want to have that mess, okay? So now what we're going to do is just going to go scoot around all the way around the outside edge. When I did make this one right here, I went around several times just to, you know, give it dimension and just fun and keep the sides the fun to have them frayed, right? Like that's the fun part of the project. It doesn't have to be sealed up edges. It's all raw edge. Okay, so we're ready? Yep, gotcha, buddy. It was beeping at me to confirm that I knew that the feed dogs were down. And of course you can add other things to your whole bag if you want to add like a pumpkin or a full moon or like some sort of like really kind of funky scene. What is going on here? She kind of does to me, but it is lubed, but not really well. Okay, did I miss something in the threading? Here, let's go rethread it. That's usually one of the troubleshooting issues, is just always just go rethread it. Top and bottom could definitely be an issue. Something got missed. Get a nice clean thread edge through the eye of the needle. Pop our bobbin out. Oh yeah, that looks like it's wackadoodle all over the place. Okay, so maybe I didn't get it hooked in there properly. I just don't want it to cut. I don't want it to cut right there, okay? Because I want that tail. So full rotation, grab the tail, and good to go. Over here. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's try that again. Let's trim up those threads. Here. Down. We know we got the bobbin up. We need to put it to the top of our fabric here. Okay. So having it top of the machine is one thing, but top of the fabric is another. All right. Ready? That's looking a little bit better. Okay. And that's the fun thing about this. You're going to go around many times anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You don't have to keep on the same line. It's giving a little bit of depth and dimension, especially when it comes to the mummy. You really want to go around several times. And you don't necessarily have to use black thread. You can use more like a gray or a silver or even like a cream or a tan to give it more of that like mummy sort of fresh out of the dirt kind of. What did I feel like I lost an eyeball there. Alright, and then just around his little hand, his head. Now you are controlling this. It's only, oops, it's going to go where you put it. See, that's perfect example right there. I wasn't holding on to it correctly. And always stop with the needle down so you can shift your project around on you and not have it go all cattywampus. I am feeling better. Thank you everybody for your lovely well wishes. I did manage to catch some sort of bug when we were in Florida. And then we shared it with our munchkin. So yeah, he was totally thrilled. His comment to us was, "Can I have plushies, not the plague?" I'm like, "Listen, buddy, beggars can't be choosers." Oh, I feel like, oh, we did get through. Okay, so let's reset that back up. Okay. Around a couple times to get it where you want it to be. Let's trim up all these hairy guys. Okay, so now we want to add our bones to our arms. Okay. And you can pop like just a little pin in there, or if you want, you could just put a little dab of white glue. It's up to you. Of course, you wouldn't really even have to stitch any of this down if you didn't want to because of the heat and bond. You could use heat and bond just fine, right? So, if you liked. There's a couple of other different ones out there, but I like the stabilizer, right? So, yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to move right over to where my little bone is in the arm. Okay. Pop my pin out, and I'm just going to trace the bone. Okay, just going to go around the little toppy tip there, the other toppy tip there, and then the bottomy bit, and the other little bottomy bit. Okay, and you can do that a couple of times if you like. Okay, I'm going to try and get my face in order here. And then just lift up, pop over, do little blocky stitches, and then come around again. Okay? And that's how you're just going to add all your pieces little by little till you get till you're satisfied with how you want your project to look. Take inspiration from coloring books, free coloring book pages online, and of course if you would like to help support that artist for the book that we had that we were using, please check out the link below. Okay. Now I also want to be able to go around here. You could have put another color underneath here as well to give it a little bit of oomph. I mean, that's completely up to you. I'm just going to go like as in a scoop, stitch down, go around twice, and then I'll go around the nose and then the other eye. Okay, I'll catch up with you once all these bones are in, okay? What we have here is our cute little skeleton that we stitched down and his little body frame. He's just on a blank piece of fabric right now that I'll probably just, like I said, turn into a wall hanging for someone. So what we want to do when we do the mummy is, because we want to make sure that the lines are going to be marked correctly of where the wrapping is on the mummy. So we want to make sure we turn our template over to the right side. We have our heat and bond on this side with the trace out so we can see. But then I thought, I really couldn't see that all that great. So I put it right back on what I traced out. So we just want to kind of draw some pencil lines to give us the guidelines where we're going to stitch with our free motion, okay? Doesn't have to be super dark. Doesn't have to be like super accurate either. It is just a cute little mummy being wrapped up. All wrapped up. Oh, okay. Just a basic little shiftings of the fabric as it gets tied around. Make sure you get a little on the legs. And then those gives us a little bit of stitch line so we can actually see, okay? Oh, and then we should probably get a little bit of the more accurate placement of the eye. Okay, so that'll be a good guideline. So what we want to do is put this on our nice dark fabric because that's the, it's going to show out the best, right? And again, if you wanted to, you could stabilize the back of this as well, but I don't really feel it's completely 100% necessary. So let's scoot him down just a smidgy widge. Okay, so you can always put him like in some sort of little environment, like maybe he's hanging out with another mummy buddy. And then I have black thread, or like a super dark gray, I think it might be a super dark gray, to go around and do all the stitches. So first what I'm going to do is stabilize it all the way around first and make my way like across the lines as I'm going around. But we can do many, many layers of designing to get the thread just the way we're looking for, right? So if you see that right there, it's a lot of detail, but it's so worth it when you get something really this cute, right? Just do the one. Thank you. We want to bring that bobbin up to the top. There we go. Make it a 1 unit. Okay. Seriously. There we go. And then just put her on down. Close to the edge, and you're going to go around several times anyways, right? Okay. So let's try and get a little arm defined here. I find that if I can get the pins out the soonest possible, then I can just kind of putter around the whole project, right? Don't forget to stop, needle down, lift the foot, readjust yourself. Try not to like keep going all over the place, right? You have more control than you're giving yourself credit for by just stopping and readjusting yourself. Having the excuse that things got out of control is not a good excuse. Only happens at karaoke at the pub. Now I'm going to try and follow some of my lines, so I can take my pins out now. I don't have to fiddle with battle with them anymore. Okay, try and work my way along the lines. And you're going to go like once and then come back again, or you can just try and go over everybody once and then make your way around again, see which ones you want to more like highlight more. Find that happy medium between the foot pressure and your hand movement. It is a hand-eye coordination situation. It's more like driving a stick shift. But you will get it once you have the practice, right? Okay. And practice with little things first. Try, to get the feel of the free motion, try writing the alphabet in cursive on a piece of, like on fabric, right? Trace it out and just write all the letters. You'll get the feel of how you're going. This way. Cross there, up there, over here, over there, up there. It's a puzzle. Okay. And I always try to prefer to have my projects as closest to me and then moving away from me, but sometimes you can't always have it. Okay, so once you get it to the point where you're liking it, to that, we're going to switch back to our regular walking foot or sewing foot, your regular main foot. Let's do that real quick. And then I'll show you how to put a French seam on this little tote bag. So the fabric that I chose for this is just obviously to complement whatever I'm putting on it, like dark and lights and stuff. But also it is 26 inches long and about 20 inches wide. And I think that makes a nice good tote. I mean, we used to truck around in the old days with a pillowcase doing some trick-or-treating. So I know, like, back in the day, malls did not like do big trick-or-treater things, so it's just okay, let's switch out our thread. I can finish that one off, but you get the gist of what we're going on here. Fun stuff. Fun creative stuff. Making special, it's great if you could do like your like a kid's drawing in a representation on the side of their Halloween, like maybe what they wanted to be for Halloween. You can take that and make it into a really fun applique for them. Sorry, I'm trying to find my thread here. Okay, now we want to make sure that we are also putting our feed dogs back on to do this properly. So let's flip our switch. Okay, so when we want to do our French seam, okay, first we'll put our handles on. Okay, so what I did is I'll fold the tote, what I'm going to use as the tote, in half, okay, and then just mark the half spot right there, just a little pencil. Doesn't have to be anything dramatic, okay. And then for the little ties, I chose a 4-inch strip by 20 inches, and then you can put this on the inside or the outside. It's completely up to you. I think I'm going to put it on the outside, and then I just took a ruler width of 4 inches. Okay, just put my 4-inch ruler right there on the line. Folded the raw edge under. Pop a few pins if I can reach them. Okay, oops, the little edge needs to be a little bit flatter. And probably can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so here, one here, and then again on the other side. Make sure your handle is straight. You don't want that twisted. That's no fun. Okay, and then put it about the same space. Just put a little clip there at the moment. Okay, and then we'll do that for both sides and get that sewn on, okay? So be right back. Okay, we're just finishing off the last little handle. I like to do 3 stitches across just to give it sturdiness. We want to make sure, you know, the little munchkins are getting candy. They're not going to lose any of it. And that's why I like a nice French seam as well, because it's going to be strong. Okay, so once we got all those, you can trim up your threads later. You don't necessarily have to do it right now, although sometimes it is very compelling to do it right now. Now, to put this seam so it's on the inside of the bag, like this one here, what we're going to do is we're going to sew on the outside first, okay? So we're going to sew on the outside. We're going to put these 2 of the wrong sides together. I know that's not normally what we do, but we're just going to do it here today. Okay, keep your edges nice and even. Okay. And don't forget to trim up all your threads. Okay. And we're just going to sew down on either side, right here, straight down there, close to the edge. Not a quarter, but not an eighth either. Just like somewhere happy in between. Because what we're going to do is we're going to turn that to the inside and then put another seam down, and it's just going to enclose that. You see that there? So that was the first stitch, and then this was the second stitch, and then that seam is just closed right inside the edge of the fabric, so it's all sealed up, okay? So you don't have to put a lining, but if you want to, you certainly can. All right, so just like a smidge. Well, on my machine, the 1/4 inch is kind of like right there in between, like where the plastic and the metal is, accordingly. So I'm just going to kind of like a little bit shy of that. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm getting both of, you know, column A and column B on these sides, and then we're going to turn it into the inside, okay? So just snuggy, way down the side. And we're going to go all the way down. We are going to put a box corner on this, but we're still just going to go all the way down, okay? It's just easier. So just hugging tight. We're going to do that on both sides. This is some gradient tone wide back backing that I had here. Did it for, I think it was the August, one of the August projects. I just thought it was really kind of cute. It had a really nice dark side and a nice medium light side. So if I put the little mummy on the dark side, he'd show up so nice. Oops, okay. So once we have our little seam there, okay, we're a little shy there, but that's okay. We're going to seal that up anyways, okay? So when we go back to the table, we're going to plop ourselves right sides together, okay? And we want to make sure we're waking up our iron. We want to poke out our corners. Okay? And you can see where I've marked on my bag already, where I've got a 3-inch little pocket that's going to be cut out, or a little section that's going to be cut out, okay? Okay, let's flatten that. Give it a little heat loving. Make sure our seams are out, okay? All right, so they're just like right together, but they're not rolled, okay? There we go, do that on both sides. Got a pesky little fly in the shop today. Go away, little bug. And of course he chooses to pester just as I start filming. It's just the way it goes. Okay, I'm gonna press that. And then we're gonna sew down like a good 1/4 inch, even like a bigger than a 1/4 inch, all the way down here. And then that's just gonna enclose that raw seam and you're never gonna see it. I love French seams for such little project bags, little totes. Easy little, like a laundry bag or something like that you don't need a lining on, you don't want a lining on. Go all the way down. I know we're gonna cut that off, but it's okay. We want to keep it nice and even as possible, okay? And then the same on the other side. Okay? Doesn't matter if your corner's popped out, you're chopping that off. And sometimes you can feel, like I can feel with my nail where the fabric is, right? And we just want to make sure that any of that raw edge is not being seen on this side of the seam. It's always helpful to backstitch. Again, use the time afterwards for trimming up. I get sometimes overwhelmed by the trimming. So, and then we're just going to come in and cut out the corner. Okay. And that's going to give our bottom a nice little box. Okay. See, this little guy's got a nice little box bottom on him. Okay. And then we're going to do the same principle. We're going to turn it so the right side is out and the wrong sides are together. Okay. Just like we did before. Okay. Except now we have little holes in our bag. Okay. You can see some of the raw edges from the French seam, but just trim those up, okay? It's not the end of the world. Now we want to take it and maneuver it so that center seam is like in the middle of the bottom of where your bag is, right? Okay. And then we're just going to do the same to both sides. Stitch it. Okay. Stitch it close to the edge and then flip to the inside and do the same thing. And that finishes it off nicely. Okay. Okay, and then take that and then we're going to turn it to the inside, poke our little corners out, okay, and then come back and stitch over top. And it seals it up. Back stitch. Now let's take a little look. There's a couple of those little threads to trim up, but other it looks pretty good. Okay. To the other side. All right. With a little bit of thread trimming. That is it. That is a cute little tote. Oh my goodness. And what little trick-or-treater wouldn't love either one of these? And of course you can decorate either side of the bag, like make it do one on one side and one on the other. A wall hanging, a little pouch, a little pillow, just something really cute that you could make for a cute little trick-or-treater. They could have some fun. So have some fun with some appliques, some free motion quilting, and some raw edge. Okay, take care, be good, and we'll see you on the next one, all right? Have a good one.